Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Pipeline. Now, the actual puzzle from Gerhard 1963, it just doesn't so I was essentially scavenging as I usually do for what puzzle do I want to feature. And this particular puzzle just caught my eye. It's sort of a twist on region sum lines. It looks just fantastic. It looks like a lot of fun. And I'm just surprised about how undervalued it's been. It's like nobody's almost played it. So I'm really keen to actually see what it looks like. Now, the concept you can see there on the thumbnail is essentially there is the concept of almost like pipelines, region sum lines, and there's a whole bunch of different valves that can do different things to sums. If you're feeling confused, don't worry. I'm going to take a look at the puzzle and today's rule sets right now with Pipeline by Gerhard 1963 and the following set of rules. Now, irregular regions, I'm never good at these. So we have to place in every row, in every column, and then in every irregular region, the digits 1 to 8, once each. And you can notice sometimes they're squares, sometimes, rectangles, I should say. They're odd-shaped things, sometimes they're even odder-shaped things. But all of these things that are essentially highlighted by the thicker, dark black lines, these are irregular regions that have the digits 1 to 8 once each. And then there is literally only just the one variant with the twist, which is the region sum screws. So box borders divide the blue lines into segments. Segments without a screw between them have the same sum. And I'm trying to find something without giving the game away. But let's try something. Here is one where there are clearly no screws as it jumps from one region to the next. If these are 1, 2, and 3, they sum up to 6, which is what I end up placing in here. However, as you cross regions, you can actually have screws next to them. So segments with a black screw between them have sums that are in a 2 to 1 ratio. So if, for example, this is, 7, then these cells are now going to have to be 14. So that's, well, it doesn't have to be 14. It could be 3.5 because we don't know which side is double. That's something that we're going to have to figure out. We also have white screws. So segments with a white screw between them have a difference of n, where n must be determined by the solver. I was really hoping it was going to be like consecutive. Hang on, so let me just wrap my mind around this. Segments with a white screw between them have the same difference n, where n must be determined by the solver. I see. So I think that's actually saying that as we go from this cell, let's say this is 6, and let's say these two digits are, 5 and 8, that's 13. That's a difference of 7. And therefore, this 13, there's another difference of 7 because it's the same difference across both of these, I believe, that would continue all the way through. I'm guessing. I'm going to play it as such, and if I get really stuck, maybe they're not related, but then I don't really get the significance of that. It's just random numbers. So it's got to be continuous. Right. That's all the rules we have for today. Aside from kind of a little bit of ambiguity around the white screw, but I think I've got what it's meant to be. You know what to do. Link in the description down below for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Now, normal Sudoku, you would say, oh, well, hang on, this has to add up to 45. Just remember, it's the digits 1 to 8. So that's not entirely true. But I think we're still going to use this as the break-in because clearly this is the smallest digit. Then this is kind of another, this is in a 2 to 1 ratio to this, and this is in a 2 to 1 ratio to that. I'm going to test it anyway before I make that kind of fairly intuitive assumption. So the digits 1 to 8 once each in this region, that means that the total here will be 36, essentially the triangular number of 8. However, we're missing this digit. So essentially, this group, whatever it is 36 minus a maximum of 8 in here. So let's say that's now 28. That still means that these two cells have to be like absolutely ridiculous because 28 divided by 2 is 14. So that is clearly kind of a multiple of what these two cells are. And then I can't see how we're going to achieve the same sum as 7 cells in a single one. So whatever this multiple in here is, I'm not going to double it to get to this cell. I'm going to have to half it to get to this cell. So let's think about options. Kind of the intuitive one would be, let's say, 8. In here, that would be 16, which is actually not possible, because 16 and 2 cells would have to be 7 and 9, and I don't actually have a 9. So 8 is out of the question. 7 and 14 is possible. 5 and 9 won't work, but 6 and 8 would. And then 28 would. Ironically, this could actually work immediately. Is that correct? I think it is. Now, if I go all the way down to 6 in here, that would be 12, and then that would be 24, which is not possible. Essentially, by placing an 8 in here, I've already minimized this, and I've essentially already maximized this, given that 8 doesn't work. So I think this is forced. This is 8, this is 7, and we have our break-in. I'm tempted to think that this is also another kind of intuitive one that we'll have to think about. Yeah, when I say we'll have to think about it, this is probably the time to think about it. This is not 7. So 3 cells means this is at least 6, 7, or 8. Obviously, we can't do 9. It does mean that there has to be a 1 on here to get to 6, 7, or 8. This is not 6 or 8. Oh, sorry. This is not 7, so this is 6 or 8. So this is either 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5, or 1. That's not very good. We'll move on. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minimum of that is essentially add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's already at 15. Half of that, well, I'm already at 7.5. So this absolutely has to be the 8. I can't make 7.5. This is the 6. This is 1, 2, 3. That's 8, and this is 6. That also means that these cells have to add up to now 16, which is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. These are not 6s because of these two. Essentially, I've already used them in these 2 rows. We've got almost quadruples in here, but not quite. And then there is definitely a 6 in here. Then these 3 cells are known. They are 5, 7, and 8. That's not an 8. This 5, 7 on this region sum line would have to be the same in here, so that would be 5, 7 again. And then this 16, we would have to repeat on these 3 cells. Yes. Which I imagine is relatively easy to do. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. These are 4, 5, 7. Whereas 8 in row 3 can only be in here. So that's the 8. Yeah, I really struggle with irregular Sudoku. I will figure it out eventually, but I do need a moment. Sorry, one moment. Right, sorry about that. And I'm back. So 8 is in here. There's a 5 or 7 in here. Maybe it's these 3 cells. 16. 16 in 3 cells seems like very average. Without 8, 5, 6, 7 gets me to 18. And I think without a 7, I'm going to say, it's too low, isn't it? 4, 5, 6 is 15. So yeah, there has to be a 7 in here, given I can't have an 8. So these are 5s. That's a 7. With a 7 now, getting to 16, I still need to get, is it 9? I think it's 9. 9 and 7 to get 16. Sounds about right. not 1, 8, not 2, 7, not 4, 5. So I think this is 4. So I think this is 3, 6, 7. Yeah, 1, 8 is out, 2, 7 is out, 3, 6 is available, 4, 5 is out. So yeah, that's forced. This is 1, 2, 4. And then another set of 1, 2, 4s plus an 8, which is in one of these two cells. And then 8 is one of these two cells, and then 8 is one of these three cells. Yeah, not intuitive. At least for me, irregular Sudoku is always just a bit tougher for some reason. One, two, three, four, 6. Okay. Five has to be in here, given it can't be anywhere else in the box. So does 7 for that matter, so that's a 5-7 pair. This is not a 5. Or a 7. Don't know how I missed that. That's a 4. That's a 5. That's a 7. That's not a 4. 4 is in one of these two cells. 4 is in one of these two cells. Then in essence I have another 1, 2, a 3, and a 6. And that's not 6. Okay. And then I've got another 1, 2, and then 4 and 8. 7, of course, gave me 5 and 7. 7s are not far off done, aren't they? Say not far off done. Feels incredibly far off done. 7 is in one of these. 7 is in here. And then 7, 3 of them are in there. Well, one of them is in here, and then one of them is between these groups of cells. So region sum lines probably. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, Sleuth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's relatively big. So we've already established that this is at least 15. Then we have 3 cells that are the same sum. And then we go down twice to get to a single cell value, which is not 7, not 8, not 5. So like, it's almost like leading us towards to think about this being 6. And the reason I'm saying that, so this is not 6, 7, or 8. Let's assume for a sec, let's try and maximize what this could be. 5 and 7, that's already at 12. And then 6 in here. So I'm going up in steps of 6. And then to go from 12 to 18. So like I'm not far off essentially what the minimum is here with 15. And obviously if I go with 4 in here, which is the next available digit, yeah, but remember I could step quite a bit, can't I? Because if I go from 4 to 12, I can go from 12 to 20, which is actually not far off the maximum of what I can do here with 6, 7, and 8. So what's interesting is that, yeah, 4 and 6 work. No, hang on. I don't have to be that brave. It doesn't have to be a 12. I could go with something smaller, and therefore I could actually go with something smaller in here still. No, this is too early. Too early. Where am I going? So let's think about irregular Sudoku. So 5, I need one in this. Sadly, it could actually be in here. I thought for a second this is a 5, but it's not. So many places still. 8s. I mean, 7s is the only thing that I've got plenty of. And again, it's not very much to go on given what I've walked through earlier. It's got to be region sum lines. So this cell is not 8 or 6. This is a minimum of 3. So this is 3, 4, or 5, or admittedly 7. And then these two cells have to add up to whatever this is, which is still plenty of options, plenty of options. But interestingly, when I say plenty of options, where is 7 in this region? In this region, well, it's clearly none of these cells. I'm not going to put it on a cell in here that adds another one, let's say 7 and 1, and somehow get back to 7. So 7 has to be in here. Okay. Still so many options. So if I do 1, I'm not seeing the problem. Because that would be 8. I can do 2, 8. So I stepped up by 6. That would be 14. That's too small. Is that correct? If I do 1 in here, that's 8. 2 is the minimum I can do here. A difference of 6. And therefore 8 and 6 is 14, which is too small for 5 cells. Right, so 1 doesn't work. 2, with 9 in here and a 1, a step of 8 now. And then 9 and 8 is 17, which is totally sensible. Sensible as in achievable. And I'm going to guess that everything up to 5 is achievable now. 3, 4, and 5. I think we've already discussed 5, as in this being 12, this being, something, and then stepping up to whatever this is. So, sevens. No sevens. Still too many places for sevens. And then actually, so 7 in this region, it's none of these, it has to be in one of these two cells. And therefore that is not a 7. It's just not that big of a victory, to be fair. And then 7 is in one of these 3 cells in here. So this is actually very restricted. This is 1, 2, or 3, because it's not 8, 7, 6, 5, or 4. Then I need another 1, 2, 3, which they both can't, another 2 of 1, 2, 3. They can't both be in here, because I've already got 1, 2, 3, 2 of them. And the thing is, I could have 1 here, 1 there, can't I? If I don't have 1, 2, and 3 in here, then this will be at least 4 and 5. That's 9. So at least one of the 1, 2, 3s is in here. Sorry, this is such a struggle for me suddenly. That's 5, that would be 2. I'm just thinking about any irregular Sudoku I can do that would make this easier. I don't think I'm missing something here. Maybe I should think about these 2 cells a bit more. I think I can accept that these 2 are relatively big. So let's think about what is the maximum in here for a second. So 6, 7, 8, that is a maximum of 21. And therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells, that's the maximum of 21. Now, could I still use an 8 if I have 21? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, goodness me, sleuth, it's 6 cells, which is a minimum of 21. It wasn't 5 cells, that's the mistake I made. And therefore this is 6, 7, 8. just, sorry, that's the 7. This is the 6 and 8. You know, just, again, be kind in the comments. And then whatever the difference is between this 21, and therefore these two cells have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sleuth, come on, come on. There you go. 7, 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll deal with that later. This is not 6 or 7. That's 3. That's 6. That's 7. And then these two cells, actually that's not 3, are 1, 2, and 5. If this is 1, that's 6, which is not possible. This is a 2, 5 pair. This is not 2 or 5. That's a 4. So we're going from 21 to 11. That's a negative 10. I think that forces a 1 in here. That's my interpretation of the rule. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 5. What? 1. Come on. 2, 3, that's 5, that's 2, that's not 1 or 2, that's 5. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 has to be in here. And these are 3 6s. Unresolved, that's fine. This is 6 now, this is 8, this is 7. Oh, hang on, this was me scratching. No, 4 is 4. This is 1, 2, 3, can't be 4. Forcing a 4 in here. No 4s in there. There has to be a 4 in the row, which can only be in here. In fact, without the 1 and 3, that's a 2, 6 pair. That's not 2. That all looks correct. And then this is a 5. In fact, that's not 1. And then in here I have 2, 3, and 6. That's the 6. This is 2, 3. This is 1. That's 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 6. We need 2 and 3 in here, I'm going to say. We need 1 and 5. That's the 5, that's the 1. That's the 4. This is just known. 1, not 1. In fact, how's that 1 not resolving everything in here? And that 3 also resolves all of the remaining pencil marks. And we're basically there. 4, and if I've not made any mistakes, although admittedly it took me a while to sort of see some of the things I've been blind to, 2 for the finish. Fantastic puzzle, Gerhard 1963. I made this way harder than it actually was. If I can actually count, I would have been okay. What a fantastic puzzle and variant. I hope we do see it again in the future. Do give Gerhard some support. Solve it, please. And see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.